Hey, yo, what's up everyone? How are you? I'm back with another video.
Here's Cloudy.
And today, I'm not even gonna front. I loved this project and had a great time making it. In any case, it's time for another episode of We're taking it back to my roots with a very peculiar theme in mind. This time, it's an underwater themed chiptune track inspired by the likes of retro-esque modern games like Shovel Knight. It's over like 10 years now. What the fuck? If you haven't tried to make chiptune, I would highly suggest it, even if you're a bass producer like me. It's something that strips down most of the technical jargon of crazy sound design and mixing. It says, here's a limited palette, actually making a composition through semi-traditional means. You know, like an actual good melody and chords and shit. Like, who the fuck is that? All I do is make neuro sounds. Cool. Here are the rules.
It rhymed. Unintentional.
I'm broadening the challenge to just make a beat within 4 hours that has an intro and main section. At hour 3, if it's complete hot dog water, then I can hit eject and memify it, although I really only want to pull that plug as a last resort. No AI, no splice, only my own sounds and packs. And finally, at the end, you tell me if that ish be boppin' or fish floppin'. So, let's go.
Are you ready?
Coming off a fresh playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was immediately, yet indirectly at the time, inspired by the opening melody. I was a man with a plan, with an objective.
Otacon, good news. We're about to be bombed.
All right.
I really wanted to have an arpeggiator that gave the deep sea diving whimsy, kind of like if you've played Pokemon Gen 3 and how much that theme slapped. In fact, you're listening to a half-assed remix of it right now. Which, by the way, although the volume is low, you will notice these little Easter eggs in my videos of these lazy game remixes. Like last time, the opening track was a Wii Shop remix. Anyway, good old trusty faceplant / BOP is what I go for chiptune sounds, although any wavetable synth that can make their own waveforms will do. See, back in the day, these SID chips actually had these interesting waveforms where half of the wave was a traditional wave and the other half was complete noise. I'm not sure if that was distributed via bias, but I wanted to try to emulate the sound and used FM as noise to do so. Jumping into the ARP, I had a rocking key change that went from a major third for vabj and helped me really set the tone for mystery. Keep in mind, you usually can't just pitch everything up in MIDI by 4 semitones and expect it to work, so there needed to be a little bit of adjustment. Following the melody, I added some very basic chords that were spruced up by adding a fifth to the oscillators to get some lush. These chords were merely placeholders at the time, but I did manage to find some sweet use for them in the future. Next up, the lead. It was very slow and drawn out, but I think it works considering the overall pace of the track. There were a few versions and some tweaking I did here, and even tried using some of my older chiptune presets, but I'm just a fucking psycho, and I think I'm better at designing on the spot, and it helps to design the sound where it fits exactly into the context of the current project. It fuels my preset pack career too, I guess, which, by the way, you can find at Alckemy.com. Please, buy my shit. I promise. It's good.
Eat it. It's good.
Dumb some bitch wasn't no good if it hit him.
Now, for the anticlimactic drums. Since the chiptune, the kick was merely a sine wave with a pitch drop in. And the snare, while a little tricky, reminded me not to over-engineer the ting. Reason being is those old chips didn't have insane filtering and processing capabilities, so I tried to find a balance of the noise. Like, I'm not a purist of the genre, but I do try to make everything fit in the world as intended, if that makes sense. You'll see in the near future other places where I will break the rules. Before we get there, however, we need to talk about the hats. I busted out an old trick that's dope as fuck where I just used the V1 version of the hat synth from Bitwig and automate its parameters. This little guy is so swaggy at making swag rhythms are going to be swag by the time you try it, to the point where even your father who doesn't love you would be won over and tell you it's pretty swag. Swag. Simple rhythm, but automating the attack and release does wonders for this. Imagine what we could achieve with that hat rack that I showed in episode 1.
Just look at that damage!
I wasted a shit ton of time trying to harmonize with more of the lead, but I did find some melodic gems through the trial and error process. Also, tried adding some insanely bit-crushed choir pads that sounded decent, but I didn't end up keeping that. Next, I started adding chord variations, and this is where some of the magic really started to happen. That pivot point was just fucking money. Now, normally I make a bass as the first musical elaboration I go for after the drums, but it was a lot easier to come up with something with the foundation laid out already. I made a basic square bass and it already had the bounce. Finally, I added a touch of texture with some cute little sine wave bubbles and threw the arrangement together, and this is what we ended up with. Honestly, I had so much fun doing this dumb shit and really vibe with like my musical side. I don't really get a chance to showcase that as much as being a bass producer, but having these opportunities really help provide some variety in my life when things get stale. Making a path to facilitate that side of my creativity is part of why I mess with chiptune as much as I do. Even though the constraints of the sound palette are limiting, the actual genre encouragement of traditional composition open up a lot of creative doors. Thanks so much for sitting through this journey. I didn't make any friends along the way, but you might if you share this video. My only friends are sleep deprivation and depression. Corey's cool too. If you like this video, please subscribe to the main channel where I offer tutorials, exclusive membership videos, and live stream events like this, or check out Alckemy.com for my sounds. And yes, I do lessons and can likely learn the fuck out of you, or just like the video and subscribe here. Please, I am begging you, push my buttons. In any case, I must ask you, was this a bop or was this a flop?